Today we're going to have a look at Hilde, but in light of the current season cards, mechanics and incoming combatants, we will be doing differently from usual and a lot of my focus will be on Sortie, for reasons that I will be explaining later. I often joke about Hilde being very flexible, but there's no way around it. She really is. She's a damage dealer who can be the main damage dealer, the damage dealer and driver for Hugo, the sub DPS for nearly every team, a damage over time sub DPS, a damage amplifier, and based on the epiphanies you pick, she can be more focused on AoE or single target damage. She has 3 main mechanics: her homing arrows, ionization and zero in. I will start with the straightforward ones. Ionization is a debuff that is applied to the enemy, increases their damage taken, and Hilde herself gets an extra damage boost from it. Zero in are the stacks generated by the card Big Aim Ranger. The way in which the stacks are built varies based on the epiphany, but the mechanic is all the same. It's a bit of extra tech damage that triggers at the end of the turn. Homing arrows are what make her kit feel omega busted. They are cards that get added to the deck, and when we draw them, they automatically trigger, dealing damage, among other things, and drawing a card. There are different kinds of arrows, dealing either AoE damage, single target damage to enemies with low HP, or big bonk damage to enemies with high HP. This is all dictated from which epiphany you pick for Quiver Reload. In my experience, the single most valuable epiphany is the first one, generating 4 arrows and drawing one of them. Since you're drawing it, you are automatically activating it and drawing a card, and when it hits another arrow, you repeat the process. I also found the 5th upgrade version to be really useful. It automatically generates 3 arrows each turn and they cannot be drawn in our starting cards. As long as you have some card draw in your deck, you can set things in motion very quickly. What is not about Hilde is that although many of her cards have lead, it's actually better to use Divine Epiphanies, especially on Quiver Reload, to make you play it even when drawing it mid-turn. Lead feels like an extra bonus that can greatly help us in Sortie, rather than a core mechanic she can easily abuse in Constructed. Her other cards are solid and should not be removed, but if you have a deck with 3 or 4 copies of Quiver Reload, you're ready to clear all the content currently in the game. Currently! Yes, this is something I want to emphasize because Hilde is basically a sub DPS and damage amplifier for a team that is not in the game yet. You can build her focusing on zero cost cards to abuse phase draw mechanics. You can also build her to spam extra attacks with Hugo, but all her damage over time fracture synergy will only properly start to shine when Arabella and Olga are released. I think the best course of action for now is to get Hilde, build a decent save file, then wait, without wasting time on a perfect save file that may be completely outdated in a few weeks. A semi-random save file with 3 Quiver Reloads and whatever gear you can pick up is going to be plenty enough to clear the Basin and the Nebula Distortion on autoplay. The Great Rift is not here yet, her damage over time isn't in the game yet, so what are we doing here exactly? Feels building a save file hoping it will be a good fit for a team with 2 combatants we know next to nothing about. I'm not doing that now. But there is Sortie mode. It's undeniable that the absolute queen of Sortie mode is still Tenebria. Tenebria is absolutely busted for Sortie mode. In case you do not have Tenebria, the reason for that is because her music start is play automatically for free since it costs 0 at the beginning of the turn. There can be nothing happening to it that make you discard it, and once you spam Epiphany a few times and you get Arpeggio, the run is over. You finished the run. It can be difficulty 8, max stacks, it doesn't matter, the run is over. And this is from someone with a Manifestigo 6 Tenebria, but I was doing it when she was Manifestigo 0, because she's absolutely busted. After her, we got Faye. Faye is still pretty good, because her kit is entirely centered around an upgrade card that is among the cards she starts the run with. But it can be discarded, which is a huge pain in the ass because it's basically over until you cycle through the deck and you draw it again. You need to manually play it, so it can cost some, and even then you do not have a draw mechanic built into it like the Arpeggio cards for Tenebria. You still need other cards that allow you to draw into your Inferno Rhapsodies. When we go to Hilde, I will not show you a full run of Sortie because it's going to take quite a while, but I did a run, I recorded the end, and I will show you how the boss ended. Since her Quiver Reload is a card that she starts with, and all the other 4 cards are pretty good, it doesn't really matter which card you get after Quiver Reload. What is important during the run is get an Epiphany for Quiver Reload, ideally the first one or the last one. Buy and obtain as many Quiver Reloads as you can during the run, trying to get her to cost 0 via Divine Epiphanies or whatever, and she essentially can play the run herself. If you have enough Quiver Reload and card draw, and you remove this Garbo, which is something that Tenebria doesn't really need to do, she feels a bit like a budget Tenebria, so to speak. But there is a chance that you do not have Tenebria, or your Tenebria is already level 62, and you would like, to level up some other combatants in Sortie. So if you like Hilde, and you care a lot about Sortie, she's a very safe pool. She's very good. And now I will show you the end of a run with her, so you have an idea of what a fairly decent run with her looks like. It was done at difficulty 65 hardcore just to make it faster on my end while I was recording, but I've done it on 80 as well, and it's pretty much the same, although a little bit harder. So I'm right before the boss of the Sortie run, and the deck that I built for Hilde is like this. Essentially, every time that I was offered the opportunity of picking up a Quiver Reload from an event or purchasing it from the shop, I got it. And I also like to buy cards and obtain cards that lead to draw, because she doesn't really need many action points each turn, but she wants to draw, so that you get access to your arrows, and your arrows one-shot the universe, and you overall have a good time. The gear, whatever, it doesn't matter, you just pick up the best gear you can along the way. But as long as you can get an early Epiphany on your Quiver Reload to get either this version, the Create 4 Draw 1, or the unique with opener, so that it's played automatically and you have a good time, you're going to be fine. And again, not as good as Tenebria, not on the same level at all. Very similar to Faye. I kinda prefer Hilde over Faye, especially in the current chaos. But let's see how we do against the boss. And my run started with Hilde and Faye because the game suggested to me that I would use those combatants, even if I was kinda lacking any form of defense, but it is what it is. Let's just draw a bunch of nonsense and see how we do. I'm not expecting to have a particular difficult time, because she's really, really good. She's a phenomenal combatant for Sortie. And if you want a combatant that is good in the constructed, the content for which we need to build our combatants, as well as a combatant who can fairly easily guide you through Sortie, although not as well as Tenebria, she's a very safe pool, and in theory she's also fairly future-proof. Because the devs already hinted at us that she's going to be an integral part of the incoming damage over time team formed with Harabel and Olga. So sure, we can play her now as a driver for teams with Faye and Hugo, but she's going to be relevant for the rest of the patch. And I can bring you the comparison with Diana. Diana was a solid combatant, but after she was released, the content was clearly geared toward he's immune to damage. Stop. Was clearly geared toward a Hidemari, and while you could still do well with Diana, you wanted to have a Hidemari main damage dealer team, because she outperformed Diana significantly. With Hilde, I don't think that will be a problem at all, simply because, she's going to be a sort of support / damage amplifier for the next 2 combatants. So you get Hilde now. For the rest of the season, you're going to have a great time. And I really doubt that the next season she will lose value, just because sub DPS damage dealers like her will always have a slot. Maybe she will be outperformed by future combatants in specific teams. But as long as you have someone to keep you alive, like Adelaide, Tifera, Narya, whatever, and you have a main damage dealer, that third slot is usually fairly flexible. Like, very often we bring along another damage amplifier, so that our main damage dealer can have a good time. But she does a bit of everything. She amplifies the damage of the main damage dealer while dealing damage herself. So, extremely valuable combatant, extremely versatile, flexible, wink wink. So, a very safe pool to me. Very, very, very safe pool. Now let's see what we get. Oh my god, we got the universe. We're getting everything. Poor chaos. Poor chaos. Of course, there is a bit of recency bias, because this chaos is made for Hilde, essentially, or at least part of it is made for Hilde. So you know, it's a bit difficult to evaluate her in a vacuum, so to speak. Like, Serenial is amazing, but if she faces enemies that do not have the tenacity bar, she's kinda ass. So what is going to happen in future seasons? We don't know. We have absolutely no way to know. And because of that, I don't like to make predictions of how good she will be in the far, far future. But she's an extremely solid combatant. And of course, the problem is, now that we know that Arabella is seasonal, a lot of people, you know, are a bit on the fence. What should we do? Oh, did I just wipe against this bozo because I was not paying any attention? Probably. Yeah, I was not paying any attention. GG, I guess. Oh, the end of turn damage. Nice. Calculated. You know, a lot of people would rather get the seasonal combatant because there will always be a chance to pick up Hilde, and it's true. But at the same time, if you want to collect combatants, you are guaranteed to be able to have enough for Arabella. And Hilde, I don't know, you can get her. She's a great combatant. You're going to be able to play her together with Arabella. So it's all good. This is something that is a general topic of discussion for me, and it's not specific for Hilde, but I will throw it here. Probably for future combatant, I will just put a disclaimer background around this part of the video. I care a lot about Sortie, not only because I enjoy the roguelike game mode a lot, and it's where I spend most of the time on a nearly daily basis, especially after every few weeks after a new season is released and all my combatants are done. It's because constructed decks, you know, the content where we need save data, are the basin, and any basic save data is going to allow you to get full score on the basin on autoplay. Nebula Distortion bosses, the same thing applies. If you build a decently looking save file for your combatants and you go on Nebula Distortion, your potential is built, your fragments are built, your character is maximum level, on autoplay you're going to get maximum rewards. Then we get the Great Rift, which every season requires very extremely odd and specific save files to get the max score. Some people are fooled into believing, oh, I need to build that very specific deck to challenge the leaderboard, because they don't know that the people in the leaderboard have Manifest Ego 6 combatants. It's not shown when you check the leaderboard, but it's like that. So at the end of the day, for me, building save files is fun. I enjoy it a lot, and I spend a lot of time trying to get perfect save file just to see my combatants perform as well as they can in this kind of content. But at the same time, Since performing at the best and performing decently leads to having the same rewards, I care a lot about how a combatant performs in Sortie. I can give you an example of a combatant that I like a lot. I like her playstyle, and to some extent she's similar to Hilde, but I hate playing her in Sortie, and that is my beloved Yuki. You may notice my beloved Yuki, oh, it's only visible from this screen, is Manifestigo 6. I like her a lot. I didn't get her Manifestigo 6 over time. I got it during her banner because I like her playstyle. In Sortie, the problem is that you start with the 4 cards at the top and 1 of the 5 at the bottom. What this means is you have the 2 basic attacks that deal laughable damage, especially Rapid Slash. For the amount that it costs, it's a laughable card. Then you have a shield card. Then you have Prepare to Subdue, which allows you to draw 1 of your trash cards. Your 5th card could be Freezing Blade, which is a little bit of extra tech when you use an inspiration card. It's abysmal, like you can struggle in Sortie at the beginning of a run with Yuki. Whereas someone with Denebria is like dancing around, steamrolling everything and taking a dump into the soul of every enemy that you face in the chaos. Hilde is very similar to Yuki in terms of playstyle. She generates... Well, Yuki doesn't generate cards, but she has her own cards that she can draw by herself, and she plays them all in a loop. Very similar from that point of view. The difference is that she has 1 completely dead card, which is the shield. Multi-shot is not very good. Sometimes it can get in the way of you cycling the deck, but at least for the first few fights it's going to help you clear some AoE nonsense. And you have Quiver Reload. Quiver Reload by itself without an Epiphany is going to allow you to go through the first area of a Sortie. But as soon as you get an Epiphany, ideally number 1 or number 5, and you get to a shop, you buy 1 more, you go to an event, you buy 1 more, your Hilde is just starting to steamroll. You go from competent, because she has Quiver Reload, plus 1 of these 4 cards at the bottom, and they're all good, to an end of a run where you have multiple Quiver Reloads, and you're just one-shotting the universe while AFK. So, do you care about constructed deck? She's excellent. Do you want to be able to clear constructed content with a decent save file that doesn't require you days and days and days of farming because you just care about the rewards? She's excellent. Do you only care, or do you, let's say, mostly care about Sortie because you like the roguelike aspect of the game? She's very good. If you do not have Tenebria and you do not have the seasonal combatants, I would say that she's among the best, if not the best at the moment, to clear Sortie. And she's also relatively future-proof, since we're going to get a couple of new combatants that run in teams that seem to be centered around Hilde, or at the very least Hilde is part of those teams. So for me, she's an excellent pool for seasonal content, she's an excellent pool for Sortie, and she's fairly future-proof, at least for the next couple of months. Pretty good value for a combatant, and all of this is there at Manifestigo 0. I did not showcase my full Hilde build yet, but it's like this: Manifestigo 0, Memory Fragment. Oh wow, I'm using her signature set. Yeah, you need a guide. For me, there are some guides that are like this. It's ridiculous, but whatever. And her stats are like this. Not even that good, but decently good. I really hope I will be able to get some extra critical chance. And I would like to reduce critical damage and get more extra tech damage. Some extra tech damage would be very nice, but I'm close to 20%. It's already decent enough. Ever partner. Save data that I'm using for the most part is this. It's not perfect by any extent, and actually if I could merge the 2 save files that I have not deleted, but that I still use, I would have a perfect save file, and I'm not kidding. Like, I would like this desire card on this save file, And then this save file would be essentially perfect, because the survival desire card is better than inquiry for her. But inquiry is not bad, it's very usable. And I would probably prefer to only have 3 quiver reloads, or have 1 without Divine Epiphany and then apply Divine Epiphany here to reduce their cost, so that everything or most of the cards can be at 0 cost. She can be an amazing driver for Faye, she can be an amazing driver for Hugo, but it's too much. Like, this is way excessive for clearing the constructed content that we have in the game right now. It's way more than enough. If you save a file, when you're building your Hilde, who looks roughly like this, you remove the basic cards, we don't want them. Then you take Quiver Reload, you copy it. Well, no, you apply Divine Epiphany, cost 0, because it's very important. Then you copy it a couple of times. Let's say you don't get the event, you can only copy it twice, and you don't want to spend the currency. Fine, it's absolutely fine. Plasma Rain, Divine Epiphany, I personally like the skill version, because when you're spamming Divine Epiphanies or it's going to be extremely easy to get reduced cost. There are not many options. I can guarantee you are going to hit these 2 multiple times, but eventually you're going to get reduced cost. It's like that every single time, and Smilegate will never not convince me that it's skewed. But that's a whole other topic. When we go to Draw and Release, Unique Epiphany, I like the one with general draw 2, but you can you can choose draw 2 lead cards, draw 2 attack cards of this unit. They're all fine. I will go with this one just for the sake of simplicity. Again, cost 0. Big Game Ranger. On hit 3-0 in, we are at 160. Divine Epiphany. I would go with Morale, just because, you know, extra attacks, cards with relatively low multipliers, they greatly benefit from Morale. So we are at that. Then, what is that? Add a card. I believe we need to go scroll down quite a bit. Here. This save file is not perfect. It can be optimized a bit better, but it's very easy to obtain, because all of these Divine Epiphanies in sortie crafting will not take long at all. If you cannot get survival card, it's fine. You can do the other one, the one that I mentioned earlier. Man, I'm terrible with names. Inquiry. I was about to say ionization, but ionization is a mechanic. You can go with inquiry. It's going to be absolutely fine. This is a save file that I can guarantee you it's going to take you no more than 2 days of 3 daily runs to put together, and very little sortie farming. You're going to put it together in no time, and it's going to clear everything until Arabella comes around. When Arabella comes around, maybe we want to change something. I do believe we will still want multiple quiver reloads. Maybe we will want to change this one to apply fracture. Maybe we will need multiple. I don't know. We don't know anything about Arabella. And I would say get a save file that looks roughly like this. Equipment, exit without saving, my god. Equipment, ideally you want the Cthulhu weapon, but again, if you have this one, you're going to be fine. And this one I got it multiple times. The pulsating egg in slot 3, I get it offered, I would say 40% of the time during my runs, so it's not difficult to get. And this save file, which is far from being ideal, cleared the Nebula boss, which is currently the hardest content we have in the game this season, on the second turn. Which means that if I optimized it a little bit, I would clear it on turn 1. With this, which was my third or fourth save file, I cleared it on turn 1. So, this is something that goes a bit beyond a topic that is focused on Hilde, but many people complain about taking too long to build save file. Oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to grind that. It takes no time to build her. Really, really no time. And, you know, to be fair, also, there are 3 kinds of content in the game where we use a save file. If you don't want to do it, just don't, do exploration, do the story, and just collect the combatants. But going back to Hilde, solid combatant for the seasonal content that we have, very good combatant, way above average for Sortie. So for me, if you want to pull her, you are not going to regret it. And as long as you have enough for the seasonal combatant, Arabella, who is not too far from now, I would 100%. I don't want to say suggest you, but if you told me, Sir Grandelot, I got Hilde, I would give you a thumbs up. I don't want to suggest people to pull for combatants because there is always, the personal preference. Oh, I don't like this, I like that. And I pull for that combatant, I lost the 50-50. Now I do not have enough for the seasonal combatant. It can be painful. But yeah, she's a good combatant. I talk about too many topics. Maybe I will have a separate video about the sortie versus constructed mode where I will go a little bit more in depth about that. But for this rant / video about Hilde, we're done. Bye guys, take care and enjoy your season.